Hi everyone, Dr. Beena here. Today we are discussing vitamin B12. It's a revision class. So the question is, list the source, functions and deficiency manifestations of vitamin B12 or cobalamin. So before going to the discussion, we have to know what is cobalamin. It's also known as anti-pernicious anemia factor, extrinsic factor of Castle or cobalamin. It is synthesized only by microorganism, that is anaerobic bacteria, and it is never found in plants. So three major forms are hydroxycobalamin, adenosylcobalamin and the methylcobalamin. So what are the source? They are found only in foods of animal origin, liver, eggs, meat and fish. And vegetarians should take enough milk or milk products or egg, otherwise they will be deficient in the vitamin B12. So pure vegetarians will have deficiency. Recommended daily allowance in adult is 2 to 3 micrograms per day. Pregnancy also 2 to 3 micrograms per day. So the vegetarians will have the deficiency, otherwise it is present in the animal food origin. Now how the absorption, something different in the absorption of vitamin B12, that's why we are going with the absorption. It is taking place in the ileum, bound to proteins of food, that is gastric HCl and pepsin releases vitamin B12 and take it available for the absorption. So what is intrinsic factor of Castle? It is a constituent of normal gastric juice, a glycoprotein secreted by the parietal cells of the gastric mucosa, which is essential for the absorption of vitamin B12. So the binding protein is the intrinsic factor of Castle. It is secreted by the gastric parietal cells. The second factor is cobalamin secreted in the saliva. Gastric pepsin releases the vitamin from the protein of the food, and then the B12 binds with the cobalamin. In the duodenum, cobalamin is hydrolyzed by the trypsin, which is present in the pancreatic juice, and then the vitamin binds with the intrinsic factor, which is present in the secreted by the gastric parietal cells. This intrinsic factor B12 complex is attached to the specific receptors on the mucosal cells, and the whole of the intrinsic factor B12 complex is internalized and the B12 is absorbed from the ileum. So the site of absorption of vitamin B12 is ileum, and it is in the bound form of intrinsic factor vitamin B12 complex. So in this diagram you can see the vitamin B12 cobalamin is there, and it is reaching the stomach where the gastric parietal cell secretes the intrinsic factor, which is red in color. Then this complex will pass through the intestine, and from the ileum it is intrinsic factor complex, that is B12 complex, is absorbed through the receptors, and it is transported binding with the transcobalamin 2 in the blood and reaches the various target tissue, and it is released in the tissue and it is stored. Now the transport. Intrinsic factor is digested inside the mucosal cell and B12 is transported to the circulation. So once it is absorbed by the complex mechanism, that is intrinsic factor B12 together, after absorption it is then transported from the mucosal cell through the blood by binding with the transcobalamin 2. It binds with the transcobalamin 2 with the methyl B12 or methylcobalamin and transported in the blood. So the majority of the vitamin B12 seen in the blood is in the form of methylcobalamin or methyl B2. Then it is stored. Methylcobalamin is in excess is stored in the liver as the adenosylcobalamin in combination with the transcobalamin or transcorin. So another protein, transcobalamin, which helps in the binding of the adenosylcobalamin, which is the storage form of vitamin B12, and it is stored in the liver mitochondria. So the only vitamin, water soluble vitamin, which is stored in the body is the vitamin B12. So around 2 milligrams are stored in the liver, which is sufficient for about 2 to 3 years. Suppose we are having deficiency for 1 or 2 years, it won't be manifested because there is enough store as adenosyl B12 in the liver normally. Now the functions of the vitamin B12. So there are two main pathways where the vitamin B12 acts as coenzymes. The coenzyme forms are adenosyl B12 and the methyl B12, or the adenosylcobalamin or methylcobalamin. So there are two reactions. One is homocysteine to methionine, that is homocysteine methyl transferase or the methionine synthase. That is the enzyme which is having using the methylcobalamin as the coenzyme. Another reaction is the conversion of methylmalonyl coenzyme A to the succinyl coenzyme A, where the methylmalonyl coenzyme A mutase is the enzyme which contains the adenosyl B12. So here the adenosyl B12 and here the methylcobalamin or methyl B12 is used. These two reactions are the main doing the main functions. So the functional role of vitamin B12, methylmalonyl CoA isomerase. D-methylmalonyl coenzyme A is formed in the body from propionyl coenzyme A. It is then converted to L-methylmalonyl coenzyme A by the racemase and then isomerase to by the methylmalonyl CoA mutase containing adenosyl B12 to the succinyl coenzyme A, which then enters the citric acid cycle. So in the B12 deficiency, methylmalonyl coenzyme A is excreted in the urine and the condition is called methylmalonic aciduria. The metabolism of hot chain fatty acids, then the metabolism of valine, isoleucine and methionine and threonine also lead to production of methylmalonyl coenzyme. So the source of methylmalonyl coenzyme in the metabolic pathway is either from the hot chain fatty acid metabolism, that is through propionyl coenzyme A, or from the valine, isoleucine and methionine and threonine also produces methylmalonyl coenzyme. This D-methyl is converted to L-methyl by isomerase, and then the L-methylmalonyl coenzyme is converted to succinyl coenzyme A by the mutase. The mutase enzyme requires the adenosyl B12. So the second reaction is the homocysteine methyl transferase and a methyl folate trap. That is, the production of methyl tetrahydrofolic acid is a irreversible step. Therefore, the only way of generation of free tetrahydrofolic acid is in this reaction. So when the B12 is deficient, this reaction cannot take place and this is called the methyl folate trap. So the conversion of methyl tetrahydrofolate to tetrahydrofolic acid requires the vitamin B12, where the vitamin B12 is converted to methyl cobalamin or methyl B12. So that methyl B12 is required for the conversion of homocysteine to methionine. So that is the reaction where the methyl B12 is the coenzyme. So the deficiency of vitamin B12 here leads to the folic acid scarcity, and that is folic acid, even though it is present, but it is not producing tetrahydrofolic acid, because for the conversion of N5-methyl tetrahydrofolate to tetrahydrofolic acid requires the vitamin B12. So vitamin B12 deficiency produces the block in the conversion of methyl tetrahydrofolate to tetrahydrofolate. So the whole of the methyl tetrahydrofolate is trapped. So it is not converted to tetrahydrofolic acid. The tetrahydrofolic acid is required for the production of DNA and RNA, and then if it is not properly formed, then there will be a deficiency. It will lead on to the megaloblastic anemia. So effects of vitamin B12 on the conversion of methylmalonyl coenzyme A to succinyl coenzyme A. Here the adenosyl B12 is required and the enzyme is methylmalonyl coenzyme A mutase, and the succinyl coenzyme A then going to the TCA cycle. The other reaction is the homocysteine to methionine, that is there. This methylcobalamin is the coenzyme required. This methylcobalamin is formed when the N5-methyl tetrahydrofolic acid, N5-methyl tetrahydrofolic acid is converted to tetrahydrofolic acid. For this, methylcobalamin is required for this reaction, where the N5 methyl tetrahydrofolic acid is converted to tetrahydrofolic acid. So this is not occurring. That means N5-methyl tetrahydrofolate is trapped. So that methyl tetrahydrofolate trap is the methylation of homocysteine to methionine depends upon the vitamin B12 and N5-methyl tetrahydrofolic acid. In B12 deficiency, N5-methyl tetrahydrofolate cannot be converted to tetrahydrofolic acid, and the most of the folic acid is trapped as N5-methyl tetrahydrofolic acid. This functional folate deficiency due to the lack of free tetrahydrofolic acid in B12 deficiency is called the folate trap. This leads to inadequate synthesis of purines and pyrimidine bases and deficient DNA synthesis, so the megaloblastic anemia. Now the causes of vitamin B12 deficiency that you have to study and write. Various types of causes: nutritional cause, decreased absorption due to gastrectomy or resection of ileum or malabsorption. Addisonian pernicious anemia, there the deficiency is mainly seen in the European countries, and they are seen in persons over age of 40. This is due to the antibodies generated against the intrinsic factor. So the absorption is not taking place, not due to the deficiency of as such of the vitamin B12, only due to the antibodies. Autoantibodies are produced against intrinsic factors, so absorption is defective. Then the gastric atrophy, which is seen in the iron deficiency anemia. Then in pregnancy due to increased requirement, and in some Scandinavian countries due to the fish tapeworm, where the tapeworm has a special affinity for B12. Those who are eating raw fish can have this disease, and then deficiency of B12 can occur. Then the deficiency manifestations as such, you can say about the folate trap, megaloblastic anemia, how they are formed in the peripheral blood smear. Only the megaloblasts are immature, nucleated RBC and hyper segmented neutrophils are observed. Then abnormal homocysteine level, that is when there is deficiency of B12, this conversion of homocysteine to methionine is not taking place, so the homocysteine level will be increasing in the blood, and it is excreted through urine. The homocysteine high level in the blood is seen have a correlation with the vascular disease like myocardial infarction. Then demyelination. So active methionine is not available because homocysteine is not converted to methionine, and methionine has to be converted to S-adenosyl methionine, which is the active methyl donor. So when there is deficiency of vitamin B12, this SAM is not produced, so there is no methylation reactions. Then the phosphatidyl ethanolamine is not converted to phosphatidyl choline, which is necessary for the myelination of the nerve fibers. So there will be demyelination of nerve fibers, which leads to some disorders, that is subacute combined degeneration and damage to the nervous system as seen in this condition only in the B12 deficiency. There is demyelination affecting dorsal column and pyramidal tract of the spinal cord. Since the sensory and motor tracts are affected, the name is combined degeneration, subacute combined degeneration. There is symmetrical paresthesia, the sensation is lost in the extremities, alteration of the tendon and deep sense reflexes, loss of position sense and unsteady gait, positive Romberg-Sen and Babinski signs are also seen. Then echlorhydria, that is absence of HCl in the gastric juice, that also will be producing decreased absorption and then B12 deficiency. In the nails, we can see some changes, that is due to the vitamin deficiency. That is, nail has parallel ridges. You can see the parallel ridges in the nails. So here you can see this is the picture of a megaloblastic anemia, that is nucleated RBC and hypersegmented neutrophils. Then here in the nail you can see the ridges. The ridges are seen, which is also a symptom of or sign of the vitamin B12 deficiency. Then assessment is by measuring the serum vitamin B12 by ELISA or RAA. Then the peripheral smear you can do with blood or bone marrow, which shows the picture of megaloblastic anemia. Then Schilling test is done to diagnose if there is a suspicious of intrinsic factor antibodies to diagnose the pernicious anemia. That is a test. And then methylmalonic aciduria can be detected in urine. If you examine, if the methylmalonic acid is present in urine, you can diagnose it. And a Figlu excretion test also will be positive. And then the homocystinuria. If there is B12 deficiency, there will be homocystinuria. Homocysteine level will be increased in blood and excreted in the urine. So the normal level of serum B12 is 20 to 100 nanogram per deciliter, and these are all the tests we can do and get a positive test. And the treatment is by supplementing the vitamin B12 as oral pills. Both folic acid and vitamin B12 together are usually given as oral pills. And if the deficiency is severe, intramuscular injection by 100 to 1000 microgram of B12 can be given. That also is very useful. So if you are asked to write about the source, RDA, and the functions and deficiency manifestation, you can write accordingly. Sources you have to study, and the animal source, animal food origin, it is not present in the plant origin. Then the causes for deficiency manifestation, and also the various types of deficiencies like folate trap, megaloblastic anemia, demyelination, subacute combined degeneration of spinal cord. Then these are all the important things for deficiency manifestations. Functions, two coenzyme forms, that is adenosyl B12 and the methyl B12, and there are two reactions only, methyl malonyl coenzyme A to succinyl coenzyme A, where the adenosyl B12 is the coenzyme, and then the homocysteine to methionine, where the methyl B12 is the coenzyme. These two reactions you have to mention and write. So that is all about the vitamin B12. Thank you. Hi everyone, Dr. Beena here. Today we are discussing the folic acid. So the important question came for the university are, one is folate trap, then folate deficiency, then biochemical functions and deficiency manifestations of vitamin B12, and list two reactions where the folic acid is the coenzyme. So together, vitamin B12 and folic acid, these are the some important question came for the previous university exam. Now before going to the actual part, we have to know something about the folic acid. Source of folic acid, rich sources, yeast, green leafy vegetables. Moderate sources, cereals, pulses, oil seeds, and egg. And milk is a poor source of folic acid. Then the recommended daily allowance is 20 microgram per day. In pregnancy, it is 400 microgram, and in lactation, around 300 micrograms per day. And folic acid is used for the certain as a therapeutic agent, and that is in my macrocytic anemia. Its dose is 1 milligram of folic acid per day. Folic acid alone should not be given in macrocytic anemia because it may aggravate the neurological manifestations occur due to the vitamin B12 deficiency. So folic acid and vitamin B12 are given in combination to the patients. Now, which is the important coenzyme form of folic acid? You know, folic acid is converted to tetrahydrofolic acid, which is an important coenzyme form. So first, folic acid is converted to dihydrofolic acid and then to tetrahydrofolic acid, where the 5, 6, 7, 8 tetrahydrofolic acid is formed by the reactions, where the folate reductase is the enzyme which requires NADPH as the coenzyme, and also vitamin C is required. Coenzyme functions. What are the coenzymes? Tetrahydrofolic acid is the carrier of one carbon groups. You know what is one carbon compound? One carbon compound is an organic molecule that contains only a single carbon atom. Examples are the formyl, formimino, methinyl, methylene, hydroxymethyl, and the methyl group. So these are the one carbon compounds, and these one carbon compounds are attached to either the fifth or the 10th or both fifth and 10th nitrogen of the tetrahydrofolic acid. That is how it is acting, that is combining this one carbon at the fifth or 10th position of the nitrogen atom of the tetrahydrofolic acid, so they can be transferred. In this diagram, you can in this slide you can see the various groups of one carbon groups, and they are carried, how it is carried in our body. That is formyl, either N5 formyl tetrahydrofolic acid or N10 formyl, formimino N5 formimino tetrahydro, methinyl N5 N10 methinyl, methylene N5 N10 methylene tetrahydrofolic acid, hydroxymethyl N10 hydroxymethyl tetrahydrofolic acid, and methyl N5 methyl tetrahydrofolic acid. What is one carbon metabolism? The one carbon group are derived from amino acids like tryptophan, histidine, serine, and glycine, and these groups are utilized in the synthesis for the synthesis of carbon number 2 of purine ring or carbonate of purine ring and the thymidylate synthesis. Now you have to write about the coenzyme functions of folic acid. The methyl group of N5-methyl tetrahydrofolic acid is used for the synthesis of active methionine, which takes part in the transmethylation reaction. So it is important for the transmethylation reaction in a way that from the N5-methyl, when it is converted to tetrahydrofolic acid or THFA, this methyl group is donated to the vitamin B12 and forming the methylcobalamin, which is necessary for the conversion of homocysteine to methionine, and from the methionine S-adenosyl methionine, which is an active methyl donor, is produced. So like that it is helps in transmethylation reactions. So these transmethylation reactions are very important for the synthesis of choline, epinephrine and creatine. You have studied all these things, so you can write about this. Then in this picture you can see various sources of this on carbon compounds, and then from the tryptophan and then the serine, glycine, choline, etc., and how it is helping in the various transmethylation reaction. Here you can see N5-methyl tetrahydrofolic acid is converted to tetrahydrofolic acid, where the cobalamin is taking the methyl group forming the methylcobalamin. This methylcobalamin which is used is for the conversion of homocysteine to methionine, and then from the methionine S-adenosyl methionine is forming, so which is the methyl acceptor. So there are two reactions where it is important. So when you explain the folate trap, you can draw this diagram and explain. That is N5-methyl tetrahydrofolic acid formation is an irreversible step. It cannot go back. So from here it is converted to tetrahydrofolic acid, which is the coenzyme, important coenzyme form of folic acid. So for this reaction, the step 1 reaction is important. That is methyl cobalamin is converted to methylcobalamin, and this methylcobalamin is transfer the methyl group to the homocysteine to form the methionine. So here there is a transfer of methyl group which is occurring from the N5-methyl tetrahydrofolic acid, and that is to the vitamin B12 or cobalamin to form the methylcobalamin, which is used for the conversion of homocysteine to methionine. This methionine, methionine is important for the formation of S-adenosyl methionine, which is the methyl donor for various reactions like formation of choline, epinephrine, etc., creatine, etc. So this reaction pathway you have to study, and when you are asked to write the folate trap, what is folate trap? Here it is trapped methyl. When it is B12 is deficient, this reaction cannot occur. That is methyl tetrahydrofolic acid is not converted to tetrahydrofolic acid, so all of the folic acid is trapped in the methyl form. That is the methyl folate trap or folate trap. So it is not available. Tetrahydrofolic acid important for the formation of DNA and thymidylate synthase, etc. So it is not occurring. So that is the main thing which is happening when there is vitamin D deficiency to B12 deficiency. So folic acid is trapped at the level of methyl tetrahydrofolic acid. So the various reactions or coenzyme reactions, N5-formyl tetrahydrofolic acid or citrovorum factor or folinic acid, it is used in as an anti-cancer therapy, and the N10-formyl tetrahydrofolic acid forms the C2 of the purine. N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolic acid is used for the conversion of DUMP to DTMP, which is then converted to DTTP, which is necessary for the nucleic acid DNA synthesis. Similarly, glycine to serine conversion also, this N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolic acid is essential. So these reactions you can mention, right? Then N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolic acid is used for the formation of C8 of the purine ring, and N5-methyl tetrahydrofolic acid formation of methionine. You have seen in the previous diagram where it is important for the formation of methionine. Now, other functions, folic acid deficiency during pregnancy may lead to neural tube defects in the fetus, and prevention of birth defects, fetal malformations such as spina bifida. So that is why therapeutic use of folic acid occurs in the early pregnancy. Throughout pregnancy, they have to take the folic acid to prevent all these malformations. Then decrease homocysteine level in the blood and therefore helps in preventing the heart disease. So if you are giving folic acid, that may decrease the homocysteine level in the blood. When there is high homocysteine level in the blood, it may have a bad side effect, does have some bad effect to the cardiovascular disease. So if we are supplying folic acid, it will be beneficial. So vitamin B12 or B9, folate aids in the production of red blood cell, that is other deficiency causes macrocytic anemia. Folic acid is used for the synthesis of DNA, that is for the thymidylate synthesis. It is important, that is function as coenzyme used tetrahydrofolic acid, that is used for that. Then folate works with B12 and vitamin C to help in the body digest and utilize the proteins. Now, what are the etiology of folate deficiency? Cause pregnancy, increased requirement causes deficiency. Then defective absorptions, pro-celiac disease. It is absorbed from the jejunum, and so when there is pro and celiac disease, it will decrease the absorption. Then certain drugs like phenobarbital, phenytoin, and hydratin will decrease the absorption. And then the hemolytic anemias, when there is destruction of RBCs, that will again increase the folic acid deficiency. And then dietary deficiency, if we are not consuming enough vegetables, then usually there will be deficiency of vitamin folic acid, and then also folate trap. That folate trap occurs only when there is deficiency of vitamin B12 also. The clinical features, that is macrocytic anemia, reticulosis, hypersegmented neutrophils, leukopenia, and thrombocytopenia. These are the main features. Macrocytic anemia because the nucleus is not formed, but the cytoplasm is matured. So you can see the reticulocytosis and also macrocytic anemia. What are the deficiency manifestations? Reduced DNA synthesis, that is in folate deficiency, tetrahydrofolic acid is reduced and thymidylate synthase is inhibited. Hence, the DUMP is not converted to DTMP. DTMP, if it is not there, so DTTP are also not formed for the DNA synthesis. So the cell division is arrested, and then there will be features of macrocytic anemia, and there is decreased cell formation. Then the macrocytic anemia, immature looking nucleus and the mature eosinophilic cytoplasm in the bone marrow cells. Reticulosis also seen, and also abnormal RBC are destroyed in the spleen. Hemolysis leads to the reduction of lifespan of RBCs, reduced generation and increased destruction of RBC results in the anemia. Then homocystinemia. Folic acid deficiency may cause increased homocysteine levels in the blood, and the plasma homocysteine levels above 15 micromoles per liter will increase the risk of in cardiac disease. So we can give therapeutically to prevent the myocardial infarction. Folic acid can be given because it will reduce the level of homocysteine in the blood. Then the deficiency, other manifestation, histidine load test. We can, if histidine is normally metabolized to form FIGLO, from which formimino group is removed by the THF, that is formimino tetrahydrofolic acid is formed. So therefore, in deficiency, excretion of FIGLO will be increased, and that can be used as a diagnostic test also. Then ICAR excretion, addition of C2 with the help of N10 formyl tetrahydrofolic acid is the last step in the purine synthesis. In this reaction, when suppose this reaction is blocked, the precursor amino acid, that is precursor ICAR, is accumulating in the blood. That also can be seen in deficiency. And then there will be birth defects. Folic acid deficiency during pregnancy may lead to neural tube defects such as spina bifida in the fetus. Administration of folic acid to the mother prevent the birth defects and the fetal malformation. So routinely we are giving the folic acid throughout the pregnant period. Now, how will you measure the deficiency? Normal serum level 20 nanogram per ml. Radioimmunoassay and chemiluminescence assay is used for the estimation. And the histidine load test we have already discussed. Fig glue excretion will be seen. Similarly, HiCAR excretion also. Then the peripheral smear, if you do the blood smear or the bone marrow smear, you can see the mature RBC, reticulocytosis, leukopenia, and hypersegmented neutrophil, etc. So this finishes the folic acid part, and then the other part is the vitamin B12. And thank you.